Students, today we shall be dealing with session 24, that is the poem Dover Beach. This poem is prescribed for the first semester BCA BSc students under the compulsory foundation course in English by Mangalore University. So, the poem that we have for study now is Dover Beach by Matthew Arnold. So, before we begin the poem, I would like to speak a few lines about the poet. Matthew Arnold was born in December of 1822 in Laleham, Middlesex, England. He is an important English poet and a literary critic. He was married to Frances Lucy Whitman in the year 1851. Empedocles on Etna, 1852, and poems in 1853 raised his reputation as a poet. The famous critical works written by him are Essays in Criticism in the year 1865 and Culture and Anarchy in 1869. Now, about the poem. Dover Beach by Arnold is a dramatic monologue. That is, he is the only speaker in the poem. The poem is an expression of a particular kind of unease and religious uncertainty that arose during the mid Victorian era. The poem is a reaction to the loss of faith that was happening in line with the rise of science. People began to turn away from Christian faith. Now, when we look at this poem, we should focus on the point: how are science and religion related? Or can science and religion go hand in hand? Can they work together? So, these are the questions that are raised in the poem Dover Beach by Matthew Arnold. So, Dover Beach is a poem which is classified as a dramatic monologue of 37 lines. In the title, the beach is more significant as it is the controlling image of the poem. The poem begins with a straightforward description of nature and seems to be a love poem. In this session, we are going to analyze the first 14 lines. So the first 14 lines give us a description of the of nature, the beach, and we also can recognize it as a love poem. It is only in the 14th line of the poem that the readers are introduced to some serious thought with the line, an eternal note of sadness. So, coming to the poem, on a pleasant evening, the poet and his love are apparently in a room with a window affording a view of the Straits of Dover on the southeast coast of England. The speaker and his beloved are looking outside their window at the French coast across the sea, some 20 miles away. The poet is attracted to the calm and serenity of the sea. So he talks about the calm sea, the fair moon, the blinking lighthouse, and the cliffs of Dover that attract him. He calls his wife to come to the window to enjoy the scene and the sweet night air. But he feels a kind of unease with the peaceful scene. We see him urging his love to listen to the grating sound made by the pebbles as the waves on the beach drag the pebbles in and out with the flowing water. When the speaker hears this unpleasant roar of the waves, it suggests to him an unspecified sadness. This trembling rhythm of the waves brings a sense of melancholy to the poet's mind. So now we will just look at the summary of these 14 lines, or what the poet wishes to tell us in these lines. So the poet Arnold talks about a city in England, that is Dover, and it is famous for its white cliffs. As the poet watches the calm sea and hears the slow and solemn rumbling sound, he senses an eternal note of sadness in human life. The poem is a dramatic monologue wherein the poet laments the loss of faith in the world with the rise of science. So, this is all that we have to analyze on lines 1 to 14 from the poem Dover Beach, written by Matthew Arnold. And the poem is he addressed to his wife. So, students, the rising the rise of science during this Victorian period brought these thoughts to the mind of the poet, and in the next two sessions we will be dealing with the second and the third part of the poem. Thank you.